everybody, Tom Vasel here. Welcome to 40 Years of Great Games. Today we're doing the year 2016. Now, I know 2016 is not over yet. As of me recording it, it is September 9th, 2016. So I'm going to be redoing this list with Sam and Z at the end of the year, and there's a good chance some of these games will have changed. In fact, I know for sure there will be one game on the list that isn't now currently for reasons, but at the end of the year I'll talk about why. But there's some great, fantastic games I'm sure that I will play between now and the end of the year. Every year is always top heavy with games from August to December anyway. Still, 10 amazing games are on this list that I'm about to give you. And that is not including Mystic Vale, great. Quadropolis, great. Mansions of Madness, which would have easily been in my top 10, the second edition, but it's a second edition, so I'm not counting it, but I love it, love it, love it. Defenders of the Last Stand, Bloodborne, Clank, and World of Yoho. Yeah, I know. If those games didn't make my top 10, what did? Here we go. Number 10 is Vast. Vast came out at Gen Con 2016. Vast is a totally asymmetrical game in which one person is playing a paladin, another person's playing a dragon, another person's playing some goblins, another person's playing a thief, and the fifth player is playing the cave that you're in. Yes. That's how that works. And each person is doing something very different. You're all running around trying to accomplish your goals, following different sets of rules, and eventually one person will, if they meet their victory condition, will win. Perhaps the sheen of how cool this is and how unique and unusual it is will wear off as time goes by, but for now I'm very enamored with the game. That's Vast. Number 9 is a game that many people would probably put as number 1 at this point. It is certainly one of my most popular reviews I did this year, and that's Scythe. Scythe is a game from Jamie Stegmaier, which married several popular things. The artwork that the game is based on, amazing. Cool universe with like mechs and stuff in the 1920s of Russia with people riding bears and things. Mixed with Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier games. A tremendous quality and good design. Mixed with the biggest hype I've ever seen any game ever get. And so you put all those things together and you have an extremely popular game, but was it good? Well, yeah, it's on my list. Come on now. Scythe was a very good game. It was a more Euro game than I expected. There's combat in it, but you fight, occasionally during it. In essence, though, you have this kind of engine building thing where you're moving different pieces from one to the other, slowly making your actions a little cheaper to do, but also more effective. Very neat idea. A lot of cool things. Each game's going to play differently. Check out Scythe. Number 8. Another extremely unique game, and that is Millennium Blades. See, Millennium Blades is a game about playing a collectible card game. Yeah, that's right. There's a collectible card game in it, actually, which is an okay game. But the game is not actually that game. The game is about playing that game. Because in Millennium Blades, you are buying booster packs of cards and opening them up and finding what cards you get and trading those cards in and building a deck and trying to get the best deal you can and selling your cards for a profit and such. All that is in this game, and it's played in real time. Doesn't sound like it should work, but it does. Millennium Blades. Number 7 is a team versus team game, Captain Sonar. Captain Sonar from Matago Games is just an amazing, fast, fun game where there are 4 people in one submarine and 4 people in another. And you are essentially playing Battleship in real time against each other. As your submarines are going around, you're saying out loud how you're moving. The other players are trying to figure it out on the map where they are, and suddenly everyone will say stop, and I'm firing a torpedo. Each person has a very specific job. The disadvantage of this game is that you probably need 8 people for it to run best, but if you have 8 people, you have an experience unlike any others. It's really good. Captain Sonar. Number 6 is Uwe Rosenberg's newest game, and that is Feast for Odin. A Feast for Odin is like Uwe Rosenberg was playing Caverna and said, you know what? Not enough pieces here. Not enough options. Let's add more. And that's what he did. But there's more to Feast of Odin than just more than the 60 different places you can place a worker. You also have a board that you're covering up with different tiles as like a patchwork style board, trying to cover up and complete and score as many points as you possibly can, and getting different resources and changing them here and going off in hunts. And there's just so much in this game that I can't even fill up a minute here to talk about it without overwhelming everybody. So watch my review on this one. But it's one that I'm sitting around these days thinking, I could play that game again. really good, and it's slowly moving up on my list of how much I enjoy it. Number 5 is Star Wars Rebellion. This is Star Wars in a box. Star Wars in a Box Rebellion, you are playing through the original trilogy, and the Rebel player has a base on a planet somewhere, and the Imperial player has to find and destroy that base. And you can build a Death Star. Well, wait, you can build 2 Death Stars. You can build Super Star Destroyers. You can interrogate Chewbacca. You can try to capture Luke and Leia. There's famous characters running around. There's different combats. You got Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters and X-Wings, and it is grandiose. It's very similar to, like, let's say Lord of the Rings was to, or War of the Ring was to Lord of the Rings. This game is to Star Wars. Excellent game. Number 4, surprising me, was Codex. Codex is a card game from Sterling Games, which essentially combines Magic the Gathering, Mage Wars, and a deck builder. But it does those 3 things flawlessly, smoothly. Every time I get Codex out, I'm really excited. There are 6 different factions for Codex. There's not going to be any more cards. It's not a collectible card game. You get everything you need, and yet the different ways you can play each time. You are trying to outthink the other person. How am I going to use my cards this way? I haven't seen a game this streamlined since Summoner Wars, but this one does it excellently, and I can pick what cards I'm going to play each time. I love this one a lot. That is Codex. Number 3 is a cooperative game that really hasn't seemed to be on a lot of people's radar, but every time I teach people, they have a blast, and that is Project Elite. Project Elite from Artipia Games is a game that's full of miniatures. I mean, the box is full of miniatures, and you are literally throwing these miniatures around because you're going to be some Space Marines, and you're walking into a base, and these aliens are coming at you, and you can't let any get into that base, or whatever the mission is. But usually the aliens are just swarming towards you, and you are going in real time, blowing away aliens right and left. There's so much going on in this game in a quick time, but it just feels easy. You're like, okay, I'm going to roll dice here and do that. And, ooh, I killed one. Throw it off the board. Okay. Oh, I killed another alien. Throw it off the board. I'm going to move over here. Now I'm going to work on this mission. So fast, so fun. When I'm done playing, I'm like, let's do it again. That's how good this game is. Project Elite. Number 2 is a Euro-style game from Stronghold and Fricks Games called Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars has just really enamored me. It's very similar to Race for the Galaxy, where you're building an engine, but you are, well, terraforming Mars, and you're building oceans and bringing up the oxygen level and increasing the temperature of the planet and building cities and greeneries all over the planet with a deck of cards that's going to be different every time you play. And you're doing different combinations and growing plants and animals, and just really smooth, fun. There's some depth to the game, but it doesn't feel that deep on the surface. Really enjoy it. But my favorite game so far, and again, this could change by the end of the year, my favorite game right now is Cry Havoc from Portal Games. Cry Havoc fits in that same box that Kemet set, or that Blood Rage. It has beautiful miniatures. It has a really cool combat system, one of my favorite combat systems ever. It has asymmetrical factions. It has deck building in it. And it does all of this in an hour. Love it. It's fast, it's fun, you're out thinking other players, you're really in their face, you're going around just blowing models up, bringing them off, capturing them, increasing technology. Really, really enjoying this one now. We'll be playing this one live in a week or so you can see how the game plays then, and that is Cry Havoc. Folks, I really think these are great games. I think all the games I left off my 10 are great. I'm sure you guys have ones that you think are fantastic and amazing too. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'm sure this will change by the end of the year. But until then, we're done. 40 Years of Great Games is finished. Thanks so much for coming along with the ride and checking out the different games from the different years. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you found some games that you haven't heard of. And then next week, it's time for me to get into that top 100 games of all times. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.